You think being kind is enough. You think patience, empathy, and love will always be returned in the same measure you give them. But one day you learn that's not how the world works. You discover that people don't always see your intentions. They see only what fits their story of you. So you stop explaining yourself. You stop begging to be understood. Because peace doesn't come from proving who you are. It comes from knowing it. You learn that silence can speak louder than defense. And walking away isn't weakness, it's wisdom. You begin choosing calm over chaos, alignment over approval. That's when your real evolution begins. Growth isn't always graceful. It often looks like distance, like losing interest in things that once thrilled you, like craving solitude when everyone else seeks noise. You begin to outgrow people, places, and even versions of yourself. And that discomfort, that ache of separation, it's not punishment. It's a signal that your old life can no longer hold the new you. You stop forcing connections that drain your spirit. You start protecting your peace like it's sacred, because it is. And once you learn that not everyone deserves access to you, your energy begins to rise. They'll call you cold when you stop overgiving. They'll say you've changed when you start respecting your limits. But that's what healing does. It rewrites your definition of love. Love isn't rescuing those who refuse to swim. It's knowing when to let go before they pull you under. You realize you can't save anyone who's committed to staying the same. So you let them go, not from hate, but from clarity. Because holding on out of guilt isn't kindness. It's self-betrayal. And from that moment on, you begin to choose peace, even when it costs you comfort. Healing doesn't always look heroic. Sometimes it's just sitting in stillness, letting your heart catch up to your body. It's crying quietly, forgiving yourself, and moving slower than the world wants you to. You start noticing small victories, a calmer reaction, a softer tone, a deeper breath where once there was panic. That's healing, not perfection, but awareness. And with each moment you choose not to repeat the past, you build a new version of yourself, grounded, calm, untouchable. Most people wait their entire lives for someone to choose them, to see them, validate them, applaud them. But the rare few, they stop waiting. They choose themselves. That single decision, to stop seeking permission and start creating your own approval, changes everything. You stop chasing love and start becoming it. You stop waiting for opportunity and start building it. That's when the shift happens. Your focus turns inward. Your energy sharpens. Your purpose awakens. You realize you were never meant to be chosen. You were meant to remember your own worth. The hardest truth. Not everyone you lose is a loss. Some people leave to make room for who you're meant to become. Rejection redirects you. Failure refines you. Pain polishes you. And someday, when the dust settles, you'll thank every ending that broke you open, because it revealed the version of you that no comfort ever could. Growth demands sacrifice, and peace demands distance. You start realizing not everyone deserves an explanation. You owe no one a performance of your pain. You owe yourself honesty and peace, nothing more. When you stop over-explaining, your power returns. Because explanation is a form of begging, and you've outgrown the need to beg for understanding. Some will misread your calm as indifference, your silence as arrogance. Let them. You're no longer in the business of convincing. You're in the business of becoming. The real battle was never with others. It was with your own mind. The fears, the doubts, the stories you told yourself about who you were and what you deserved. You learned to sit with them instead of running, to listen without believing. And slowly, the noise began to fade. That's when clarity arrived, not as lightning, but as light, soft, steady, consistent. You stopped needing chaos to feel alive. You began finding meaning in stillness. Part 9. There's a stage in growth where you start feeling detached, not cold, just clear. You see things as they are, not as your emotions paint them. You stop reacting. You start observing. That's maturity, not apathy, but control. You still feel everything, just not enslaved by it. You understand that peace isn't found in avoiding storms. It's found in learning to stand still within them. You've become the calm. Eventually, you outgrow drama the way trees outgrow shade. It no longer shelters you. It blocks your light. You begin choosing solitude over shallow company. People call it loneliness. You call it clarity. Because once you taste peace, chaos becomes intolerable. You start building a life that doesn't need escape. Quiet mornings, honest work, simple joys, and that simplicity feels like luxury. Then comes the realization. You were never broken, only buried under noise, expectations, and self-doubt. Healing didn't fix you, it revealed you. You didn't find strength, you remembered it. And that remembering changes everything. Now you walk differently. You speak slower, with intention. You react less and reflect more. Because you've learned that energy spent defending yourself is energy stolen from your peace. Part 12. The more you heal, the less you chase. You no longer seek closure. You create it. You no longer beg for clarity. You become it. You realize that walking away doesn't mean you stopped caring. It means you finally started caring for yourself. because not everything unfinished deserves to be completed. Some doors are meant to stay closed, so new ones can open with peace, not pain. Part 13. You stop running from solitude. You start finding comfort in your own company. Silence no longer feels empty. It feels sacred. You learn that isolation isn't punishment. It's preparation. It's the season where you build quietly, without applause. Where your growth goes unseen, but your spirit strengthens in ways the world won't understand. Not yet. And when you finally return, you come back lighter, wiser, and untouchable. Part 14. You stop arguing with reality. You realize resistance is just suffering in disguise. So you surrender, not from weakness, but from wisdom. You stop saying, "Why me?" and start saying, "What is this teaching me?" That shift in language changes everything. Pain becomes your mentor instead of your enemy, and every struggle starts carrying a message. You're evolving. You begin to master your emotions, not by suppressing them, but by understanding them. You feel anger without acting from it. You feel sadness without drowning in it. That's emotional intelligence, the quiet strength to respond, not react. You stop letting moods dictate your meaning. Because now you know, peace isn't the absence of emotion, it's the presence of awareness. Part 16. Eventually, you stop proving your worth. You understand that validation is just a trap for the insecure. You realize that the moment you stop performing, your real power surfaces. You no longer overshare to feel seen. You no longer explain to be accepted. You simply exist, grounded, unapologetic, complete. That's freedom. Not needing to be understood to feel at peace. Not needing to be liked to love yourself. The world tries to distract you, to pull your attention outward, to make you compare, compete, consume. But the deeper you go inward, the quieter that noise becomes. You realize true wealth isn't attention. It's awareness. True luxury isn't having everything. It's needing nothing. And that's when life slows down in the best way. You stop chasing and start aligning. You stop reacting and start creating. Part 18. You start noticing who drains you and who refills you, who listens to understand and who listens to respond. And that awareness changes everything. You stop keeping people in your life out of habit. You stop watering dead plants, because peace requires pruning. You can't grow in every direction, only in the right ones. And sometimes, cutting ties is the most compassionate act you can do for yourself. Then comes acceptance, the deepest form of strength. Not the kind that fights, but the kind that flows. You start meeting life as it is, not as you wish it to be. You stop resisting endings. You stop chasing control. You learn that faith isn't about knowing what happens next. It's trusting that whatever comes, you'll handle it. And that realization, it's liberation disguised as surrender. Part 20. Your energy begins to shift. You speak less, but your words carry weight. You move slower, but with precision. You say no easily, not out of anger, but clarity. You realize peace doesn't make you passive. It makes you powerful. Because control is loud, but power is quiet. You no longer chase intensity. You crave stability, depth, and calm. You've learned that balance is the highest form of strength. People start noticing something about you. A stillness, a glow, a calm that can't be faked. They ask what changed, and you smile, because they wouldn't understand if you told them. You've simply stopped fighting the current. You've learned to flow with life, not against it. You've made peace your home, and in that peace, you found something the world can't give or take, yourself. You start understanding that peace doesn't mean perfection. It means you've stopped allowing everything to disturb your center. You still feel anger, sadness, and doubt, but now you let them pass through instead of living in them. You've learned the art of witnessing without identifying. You stop labeling everything as good or bad. You start seeing everything as necessary. And that shift turns suffering into strength and chaos into clarity. The moment you stop needing to be understood, you become free. Because truth doesn't require agreement, only clarity. You stop wasting energy convincing people committed to misunderstanding you. You realize some people hear only what their pain allows them to. So you let them. You speak your truth softly, live it fully, and let your peace do the explaining. Because real confidence doesn't beg to be believed. It simply exists. You begin to see that your energy speaks before you do. People feel your presence before they hear your words. That's why you protect your aura like sacred space. You carry stillness with you, because calmness is magnetic. It attracts what's aligned and repels what's not. You notice life starts reflecting your inner world. When you're centered, things flow. When you're scattered, they resist. So if you want peace outside, you start by building it within. One day, you'll realize every ending was protection in disguise. That the things you lost were clearing space for what you truly deserved. Rejection became redirection. Heartbreak became preparation. Silence became strength. Life doesn't take from you. It trades. Every loss carried a lesson, every detour a purpose. And when you stop asking, why me, and start asking, what now? You evolve faster than pain can reach you. There's a peace that comes when you've survived your own storms, when you've seen yourself break and rebuild. You stop fearing endings because you've been through worse and came out wiser. You stop fearing solitude because you've learned to be your own safe place. That's real strength, not what you show the world, but what you whisper to yourself when no one's listening. I can handle this. I can handle. Eventually, you walk into rooms differently. You don't announce yourself, yet people feel your presence. You don't demand respect. Your calm earns it, because you've done what most avoid. You've faced yourself. You've sat in silence, made peace with pain, and built strength in solitude. Now your presence speaks louder than your words, and that's not arrogance. It's alignment. Peace doesn't mean nothing happens. It means nothing shakes you when it does. You stop clinging to control and master acceptance instead. Because control is an illusion, but composure is real power. You no longer fight every storm. You let the wind remind you what you can't be moved by anymore. Your calm becomes your armor, your silence, your weapon, your discipline, your freedom. At this point, you no longer chase peace. You are peace. You understand that healing isn't loud. It's subtle. It's in your tone, your breathing, your patience. You've learned that self-worth isn't earned. It's remembered. That scars aren't signs of weakness. They're proof of survival. Now the version of you that once doubted everything has become the one others come to for clarity. Life still tests you, but your responses have changed. You no longer meet fire with fire. You meet it with presence. You no longer crave attention. You crave alignment. You don't seek control. You move with trust. That's what mastery looks like. When peace becomes your baseline, not your reward. Not because life softened, but because you strengthened. You start appreciating the grace of being misunderstood, the gift of taking your time, the peace of letting people go without resentment. You realize maturity is quiet. It doesn't announce, it doesn't defend. It simply is. Because real transformation doesn't scream for attention. It reveals itself through calm reactions, patient pauses, and silent exits. That's evolution. Steady, silent, sure. And in the end, you understand. You were never becoming someone new. You were only returning to yourself. Beneath all the noise, the fear, the conditioning, you were always this, grounded, aware, enough. You didn't find peace. You uncovered it. You didn't gain strength. You remembered it. This is your return to stillness, to wholeness, to truth. Because the journey was never about changing who you are. It was about remembering who you've always been.